As many of you guys probably already know, Elder Scrolls Online's newest expansion, Elsweyr, is on the horizon, bringing many new things to the game, such as the Necromancer playable class, the Zone of Elsweyr, the homeland of the Khajiit, and of course, dragons. Lots of dragons all attacking Tamriel. Remember Skyrim? Guess what, buddy? They're back. And guess what? The beta just started, and yours truly managed to get lucky and get for himself a beta invite. So, after downloading the expansion, I booted up the game, I cracked my fingers, I put on some good Necromancer-themed music, and I was ready to try out this beta. The following was my adventure over the course of an hour, and I think that you're going to enjoy it. Guys, I skipped the tutorial and I logged straight into Elsweyr, and I was dropped into a nasty, sandy, dusty, dirty desert. Immediately, as I looked off into the horizon, I thought of my favorite character from Star Wars, Anakin, and his deep wisdoms about sand.
I don't like sand.
Running up to the nearest quest NPC, I was greeted by a giant talking Khajiit who told me to go to some town in the middle of wherever and speak to some guy that I didn't care about. But forget that guy, man. I'm a Necromancer. I'm gonna do what I want. I put in my points, I selected my starting skills, I threw them on the hotbar, and I was ready to kill everything in my path, and so I did. My first victims were these dodo-looking creatures that were peacefully sleeping under the shade of a tree, trying to avoid the scorching sun, but little did they expect
Krathul, the Necromancer,
and his flaming skulls, and his scythe of doom, and I slaughtered them, and I slaughtered them like animals.
I hate them!
And it was glorious. And so I ventured off down the road, through the zone, and I took in just how rich and detailed Elsweyr was. No matter where I looked, there was unique-looking rock formations, trees, grasses, and everything. Truly, the developers went out of their way to make the zone look amazing, and it did pay off, at least for me. For a nasty, sand-filled, cat-infested desert, this place was beautiful. Anyway, as I traveled down the road, I encountered an even bigger pussy than the one that I had encountered before, and he told me to go talk to a sorcerer lady that he had spied near a cave. So I followed his guidance and I went and found this woman, but not before picking a couple of flowers, of course, because, you know, I have a sensitive side. I saw in the distance the ruins of some ancient building constructed into the cliff face with the Catwoman at its base. She was eager to meet with me because, according to her, she was wanting to venture into the nearby cave to find the lost works of a Khajiit mage, but she was a bit too scared because the cavern was full of undead. And that's where I come in, the brave adventurer. She asked me to enter into the cave instead, see what I could find out about this mage, and report back to her. And naturally me, being the glorious necromancer gentleman that I am, I decided to help this fair cat maiden. I turned and I entered into this nearby cave, and it was a delve, I realized. A delve, for those that don't know, is pretty much a single-player dungeon in Elder Scrolls Online, complete with mobs to fight, treasures to find, sometimes puzzles to do, and even bosses to encounter. And so I entered into this delve, and wow! You talk about a big delve. This place was huge! And just like all of ESO's other delves, this place was incredibly detailed, rich with subtle lore references and structures and air. It was incredible. I loved it. I found other players in the delve too who I spoke to briefly, and we even helped each other in certain rooms to clear mobs, and that was a lot of fun. Undead after undead fell to my magic as I descended deeper into the Forgotten Caverns, finding incredible looking rooms as I went, filled with tons of eye candy to enjoy. And as I grew more powerful and I learned some new skills, I eventually started to learn the story of this place. You see, there was this crazy Khajiit mage, driven by grief, and he dabbled a little bit in necromancy, raising his deceased tiger from the grave, as well as one of his friends. Although, according to what I saw, things didn't really go as planned for him because whenever he brought something back, it was a lot more aggressive than when they were alive. And this is when something funny started to happen to me. You see, I've never really been a fan of Khajiit in the Elder Scrolls universe. They're big cats, whatever. But in my recent Why I'm Excited for Elsweyr video, I said that, quote, I hope that this expansion does make me a fan of the Khajiit, unquote. And you know what? As I explored further into this place, finding the ruins of old Khajiit architecture, looking at the paintings on the walls and learning about this dabbling in necromancy, I became, dare I say it, immersed. When I found the mage's notes, I read through each and every one of them just to learn more about the story of this place and what happened here. And when I encountered the reanimated friend of the mage and his former tiger, I knew exactly who these NPCs were, what had happened to them, and I felt bad killing them, you know? Although I will admit that the feeling of sorrow quickly was replaced by a ooh of glee because the boss, he dropped a piece of a green set that made me better at sneaking, as well as increasing my stamina and magicka recovery. And that is perfect for me because I wanted to be a sneaky, thieving necromancer, so hell yeah, baby. Now I entered into the darker halls, killing undead, getting for myself a badass helmet, and I learned from reading another set of notes that I discovered that had nothing to do with the quest, that this place was once the worshipping grounds where followers honored a necromancer-like goddess known as Mafala. Now, who was this person? Why is she described in poetry like she's a giant spider? Was she a Khajiit goddess of death? I don't know. I had so many questions and I wanted to learn more, but first, I had to escape this delve and I had to report my findings to the quest lady. Now, she was happy that I survived, and would you look at that, her quest reward just so happened to be another piece of the set that had dropped off of the boss earlier, making my character even more powerful. Not to mention all the greens and other cool pieces of gear that I found during the delve. Guys, I felt like a badass, man. Not only did I have some greens, I had new skills like bone armor that made me extra tanky and healing abilities, and I had braved the challenges and the bosses of the delve, and it was just fun. I ran off then, my rewards from the adventure in hand, and I encountered a woman nearby who I helped get her stuff back from some bandits. And while I was doing this quest, I noticed something on the map. What the hell is that? That's a dragon! A dragon! In Elsweyr! I had to go and fight it, guys. I mounted up on my scary cat monster looking mount, made my way south, and there, having landed at the top of a mountain, was the dragon in all its fury. A few other players showed up and, well, we tried to kill it, but we got absolutely destroyed, so we had to take a step back and plan. People started sharing potions with each other, food for food buffs. I quick slotted a healing ability to my action bar as well as healing potions. We called out for help in the zone chat. I did my best to form a group for us to fight in, and we engaged again. And let me tell you, this dragon fight was incredible. In the beginning, it started with this dragon just on the ground, him blowing fire at us, summoning molten chunks of rock that would explode around him. Then he took to the air, before raining down fire all over the area and explosions, all while summoning giant iron monsters that we had to push back. Holy crap! We weren't gonna last, guys. We were gonna die. This dragon was too powerful, even for all of us. But more players started to show up. Reinforcements from the north, everybody. The dragon landed. I got killed. Again, because I kinda suck. Then the dragon started Fusro-dawing players in front of him, sending them flying back. And yes, I'm not kidding. This dragon was using dragon shouts from Skyrim for the fire spells, the knockbacks, and everything. He took to the air again, raining down more fire, summoning more iron golems. Then he landed. He summoned more fire, more molten rock fragments that exploded, and I died again. But slowly, as more players arrived and as I got better at dodging and self-healing, we whittled down the dragon's health. After about 6 minutes of fighting with all these players, we managed to kill him. But what did he drop? You might be wondering, what did he drop? Well, for me, he dropped a blue ring called the Undertaker's Ring, which would apply a life-stealing effect to any enemy that I hit if I managed to find the other set pieces hidden around the world, as well as making me more powerful in other ways too. And now suddenly, with the introduction of this ring into my inventory, my cogwheels were turning. What if instead of a sneaky, thieving necromancer, I was one who used life-stealing on my opponents? And I also got a backpack too, which contained a player housing furniture recipe, Elsweyr style of course, and a treasure map that would take me to some epic cache of goodies hidden somewhere in the zone. But after that, guys, that was it. My hour was up. I had made my necromancer. I had met the Khajiit. I had descended into caves, fought undead, learned some lore, learned new necromancer abilities. I started collecting my first set for this character. I rode across the desert. I even got to fight an epic world boss dragon. And how cool was that? I just had a ton of fun playing for even this 1 hour in Elsweyr. And after finishing, all I wanted to do was keep questing, keep reading, keep discovering what was around every corner of the zone, but I don't want to spoil all of this before the official release, so I gotta cut it short. I'm pumped for the new expansion. I've had a ton of fun so far in it. Playing the beta has made the cogwheels in my head turn in so many new ways, especially with what kind of Necromancer I want to play as. And guys, I hope that when you get the opportunity to play Elsweyr, I hope that you have just as much fun as I did in the beta or after release. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you with my next one. Thank you for watching or listening. If you want to support the channel by chance, consider becoming a patron, maybe just becoming a YouTube community member to my channel. It helps either way. But guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you with my next Elder Scrolls Online video.